Welcome to the presentation of our work titled MinneApple, a benchmark dataset for apple detection and segmentation. In recent years, deep learning has led to advances in computer vision and robotic perception problems. This deep learning revolution is fueled mainly by improvements to its three central pillars: the improvement in and reduction of cost of high-performance computation devices, the availability of better algorithms, and the collection and labeling of large amounts of data. In this work, we focus on the data aspect. Automation of fruit detection and localization in outdoor environments such as orchards has the potential to not only save time and money, but it can aid in orchard and labor management, long-term planning, harvest forecasting, establishing of sales contracts, and phenotyping research. However, developing and comparing algorithms that work well in outdoor environments provides some unique challenges. A robust detection algorithm has to deal with inconsistent illumination conditions, varying fruit appearance, and object occlusions by leaves, branches, and other fruit. To train such a robust detection algorithm, we need large amounts of labeled data. There exist many popular computer vision datasets that contain a large number of images and categories. It is intriguing to use one of these datasets to train methods for precision agriculture. The POCO dataset, for example, contains a category for apples. However, an apple detector trained on this dataset performs purely in orchards, since the dataset was created to detect apples in general settings. These popular datasets additionally contain a small number of instances per image and contain iconic images where the objects to be detected take up a large portion of the image, all of which hurts detection performance in the fruit detection setting. Benchmark datasets have been popular and at the forefront of progress in computer vision. By making training and test data available, these benchmark datasets allow researchers a fair and reproducible way to compare and evaluate their algorithms in comparison to the state of the art in their field. For the field of fruit detection and segmentation, there exists currently no such dataset, which makes comparison of research results impossible. Over the last couple of years, multiple researchers have released their datasets, used for training fruit detection and counting systems. Because labeling efforts is time-consuming and costly, researchers have focused on small datasets, with little, if any, in-dataset variety. Acquired images are chopped into smaller chunks to increase the dataset size artificially. These crops show only a small portion of the original image. While this technique increases dataset size, it does not increase dataset variation, and the developed methods are prone to overfitting. Another issue is that the whole datasets are split into training and testing. Such splits lead to in-dataset testing, which makes it impossible to analyze an algorithm on its generalization capabilities. Our MinneApple dataset contains over 1,000 images, with over 41,000 labeled instances of apples. The object instances are small compared to the image size, and a single image may contain between 1 and 120 objects. We collected data from multiple fruit varieties over 2 years to create the largest and most diverse dataset of its kind. The data for this paper were collected at the University of Minnesota's Horticultural Research Center between June 2015 and September 2016. Since this is a university orchard used for phenotyping research, it is home to a large variety of apple tree species. We collected video footage from different sections of the orchard using a standard Samsung Galaxy S4 cell phone. During data collection, we acquired video footage by facing the camera horizontally at the single side of a tree row and moving by foot along the tree row with approximately 1 meter per second. When we then extracted every fifth image from these video sequences for annotation. Fruits for the detection and segmentation datasets were annotated using polygons. We only labeled fruits on trees in the foreground, while the ones on the ground and trees in the background were not tagged. We used an internally recruited workforce for the instance labeling task. Due to the large number of instances per image, the small object size, and the many occlusions of fruit instances, labeling is an arduous task. Labeling a single image takes up to 30 minutes, which translates to roughly 18 work hours per 1,000 instances. Open source datasets vary considerably in the number of annotated images, image types, number of categories, number of instances per image, and the size of annotated objects. MinneApple contains fewer categories, but far more instances per category than most datasets. In this, it is comparable to other specialized datasets, such as the Caltech pedestrian detection dataset or the KIDDI dataset. The figure on the right shows the distribution of instances in our MinneApple dataset, in comparison to some other publicly available datasets. Images in our dataset contain between 1 and 120 instances. Our dataset also contains much smaller object instances. In comparison to COCO or the Pascal VOC dataset, where roughly 50% of all objects occupy more than 10% of the image, our dataset contains only small objects. The average size of annotated fruits is roughly 40 by 40 pixels, making up only 0.2% of the original image size. We use our new dataset to train multiple algorithms from the literature and provide benchmarking results using the COCO evaluation matrix. We hope that using these well-established metrics allows researchers to compare their results head-to-head with the established state-of-the-art methods in the field. For a detailed description of the results and the evaluation metrics, we refer the interested reader to our paper. Similar to established practices, we provide data for training and validation of new models, as well as the testing images, but we do not publish the testing labels. To provide access to the test data to the community, we set up CodaLab competitions where interested researchers can submit their results and receive the evaluation as well as a comparison to other research algorithms. For additional resources such as code samples, the data download location, and access to the evaluation servers, please visit our project website at the displayed link. This work was supported by the USDA NIFA MIN 98G02 and the UMN MNDrive initiative. We acknowledge the Minnesota Supercomputing Institute at the University of Minnesota for providing the resources that contributed to the research results reported in this paper. Thank you for your interest in our work.